1074th installment of Em Alejandro, your #1 place for sports, cars, video games, fitness. If you're a man, you're here. Mr. Alejandro, but tell him.
What you about to tell him, Alejandro?
The San Antonio Spurs have demolished the Miami Heat in the NBA Finals. Where does this leave the champion Spurs? Can they repeat next season? Where does this leave the stanky Miami Heat? Can they even keep their players for next season? These tough topics in the Tell Him Show.
Tell him, Alejandro!
I predicted the Miami Heat to defeat the Spurs in the NBA Finals in either 6 or 7 games, and I am very happy to say my prediction was wrong. Not only did the Spurs beat the Heat, this series wasn't even close. It was almost a sweep. The Spurs won the series in 5 games, best of 7 series. This series reminded me of the Super Bowl. It looked like, why are the Heat even on the court with the Spurs? I think the Spurs winning the championship this season is a good thing for the NBA, because if you remember in all of my playoff predictions, I kept saying I want some fresh blood. And even though some old geezers won the championship, there's still some fresh blood on the Spurs roster that I gotta show love to. First off, let's start off with Kawhi Leonard. I want to give a big shout out to Kawhi Leonard. He won Finals MVP. I'm happy he won Finals MVP. If he didn't win it, I wanted Tim Duncan to win it. But Duncan already has a few final MVPs in the past, so I'm glad Kawhi got this. He's only 22 years young. He won the NBA championship with the Spurs on Father's Day. If you didn't know, his father passed away 6 years ago, so that was a big moment for him. And it was very nice to see, very cool, you know, as a fan of basketball, to see somebody start off young. This is only his 3rd year in the NBA, to watch somebody work their way up and evolve, and now he's on the top of the NBA. Next year is going to be a big year for him. I'm expecting big things from Kawhi Leonard. I would like for him to talk a little bit more and show a little bit more emotion and get them braids done. But it is what it is. Whatever he's doing is working for him. Keep up the good work, Kawhi Leonard. He outplayed LeBron James in this series, in my opinion. Since Game 3, he stepped it up. I told him to step it up. He clearly heard me. He heard everybody else. He stepped it up. Shout out to Kawhi. Let me go next to Tim Duncan. I got to show love to Tim Duncan. He's a geezer, but you know what? Age ain't nothing but a number, and clearly he has a lot of experience, because his game is not really predicated on his athleticism. They call him the big fundamental. Mr. Fundamental, he knows what to do in every situation. He's a 5-time champion now.
On the 5-time.
He has 3 Finals MVPs, 2 MVPs in the regular season. He's been named to the All-Star team 14 times. In 1998, when he was a rookie of the year. He's a legend. He's a legend, and now he's gone from beyond just one of the best power forwards in the league to probably one of the best players to ever play in the NBA. He's up there, in my opinion, with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Shaquille O'Neal, Wilt the Stilt Chamberlain. When you talk about big men, he's up there. He's even up there, in my opinion, with Michael Jordan, you know, Dr. J, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson. Tim Duncan's up there. I gotta salute Timmy, because I do be playing him. Shout out to my mans, Timmy! Next up, it's time to get hyped. Time to scream. Here's one of Charles Barkley's favorite players,
Charles Barkley.
Ginobili! I know Barkley loves to do that, so I'm going to do it for Barkley. I like to do it too. Ginobili, in this series, resurrected himself from last year. You see, Ginobili, last year in the NBA Finals against the Heat, stunk. He played extremely bad, and this year he played very good. I was shocked when the Spurs even re-signed him last summer. I was like, that was a bad move. I thought they should have just let him walk. Ginobili has 4 championships now. Before coming to the NBA, he put in mad work overseas, and he is like the inventor, in my opinion, of the Euro step. The Euro step is like some move that the players like to do when they drive to the hoop. It used to look like a walk, but now mad NBA players in America are doing it. You see Dwyane Wade Euro stepping. James Harden loves the Euro step. Sometimes we looking like he walking. But anyway, shout out to Manu Ginobili. He put in mad work. I'm proud of him, and he had a phenomenal play in Game 5. I was stunned. He pulled the Mr. Alejandro. This is my move in real life. He was driving to the hoop with the ball in the left hand. Ray Allen tried to get in the way, hit him with a meat stiff arm. Just get out the way, bam. Then he jumped, went up strong with the left hand. Chris Bosh was in his way. He said, he slammed it on Chris Bosh crazy. Sign that poster. That's a posterization right there, son.
Let's get posterized.
Shout out to Ginobili. He did his thing this NBA Finals. I gotta respect him for that. Let me go next to Gregg Popovich. I'm a big-time fan of Gregg Popovich. If there's anybody I like on this team other than Duncan and Ginobili, they alright. I really do like Kawhi Leonard and Gregg Popovich a lot. I gotta show my respect to Gregg Popovich. In my opinion, top 5 best coaches of all time in the NBA. This is his 5th championship. He's won 3 Coach of the Year awards. I like his style of coaching. He really shows the players ball movement is a must. He controls everyone's ego. There are no egos on his team. No one is selfish. Everybody touches the ball. Here's a few things that Gregg Popovich would preach because, you know, they would always have him on the mic. He'd be like, everybody is a point guard. Everybody is active. He would say, when you have the lead, do not play conservatively. But at the same token, we do not need any home runs. I love his logic. If I was a player, I would love to play for him. In my opinion, as good as Phil Jackson is, I think Gregg Popovich is even a better coach than Phil Jackson, the president for the Knicks. Because, let's face it, I think Phil's a good coach, but he did have Jordan and Kobe and Shaq and Pippen, you know. At the same token, Pop, I feel like he's done more work than Phil with less players. I feel like if Popovich had Jordan, Pippen, Shaq, and Kobe, Popovich would be able to win with those guys too. No offense, Phil. Also, I feel like when the going gets tough, Phil Jackson dips. We've seen it with the Bulls. Once Jordan retired and Pippen went to different teams, Phil Jackson dipped. Then with the Lakers, Phil Jackson dipped. And Pop has always been with the Spurs. So I feel like Pop is a boss. And he makes me laugh when he's on the mic in between, after the first quarter, after the third quarter, when they ask him 2 questions. Gregg Popovich makes me laugh all the time, even in press conferences, because he's just so straightforward.
Back for the start of the 4th quarter, Coach Popovich, your thoughts on the 3rd quarter?
We're behind.
Gregg Popovich, what happened offensively in that period?
Turnovers.
What about on the defensive end? They had their most productive quarter. What'd you see there?
Turnovers.
Pop, how did you think your team played in the 1st quarter?
Are we having fun yet? I need a little bit more dose of nasty. I'm seeing a little bit of unconfident. Penetrate hard. Good passing. Shoot with confidence. I want some nasty.
Could you elaborate on I want some nasty? What you meant?
And it's like dry humor. I like Gregg Popovich a lot. Shout out to Gregg Popovich. Keep doing your thing. And I hope everybody on the Spurs roster returns next year. Also, Patrick Mills. Patrick Mills put in a lot of work for the Spurs. I learned about Patrick Mills in 2012 when he was on the Olympic team going against Team USA. He put in mad work. What stood out to me from Patrick Mills was his shooting, specifically his 3-point shooting, and also his quickness and speed. He was mad fast. He reminded me of a Leandro Barbosa from Brazil. And last year, he didn't play very good with the Spurs. Gregg Popovich said that he was overweight. He actually had a nickname for Patrick Mills. He called him Fatty Patty. He probably was hanging out with Boris Diaw. Patrick Mills put in a lot of work last summer to get in shape, lose some pounds, and he helped the Spurs win a championship this year. That was cool to see. So shout out to Patrick Mills. Speaking of Patrick Mills and Ginobili coming from overseas, there are a lot of players on the San Antonio Spurs that come from overseas. After they won the championship, you saw a lot of the players put their country's flag on them. That was mad cool to see, especially with World Cups football going on right now. That was real cool to see. Also, during the game, the Spurs fans impressed me a lot. They started to make fun of the Miami Heat fans. That stupid chant that they do, the oh. They repeated that chant. I like that a lot. You know me, I like craziness like that. So shout out to the Spurs fans. They're not boring. I've been calling the Spurs fans boring. I've been calling the Spurs boring. Spurs fans are not boring. Maybe the squad is boring because they ain't really got no swag or personality. But the fans, they put in a lot of work. They showed up. They turned up crazy. Especially in the 2nd quarter when I told you about that Ginobili dunk. After that, you kind of felt the momentum shift. And it was basically over for the Miami Heat. Let's go to the Miami Heat. LeBron James. I feel like LeBron James played good in this series. I feel like he looked the same way that he did when he was a Cleveland Cavalier.
I'm single. Yeah, I'm single.
He had no help whatsoever. Let's go to his quote-unquote help. Dwyane Wade. Dwyane Wade did not show up, in my opinion, in games 4 and 5. I feel like this summer, Wade, Bosh, and LeBron have the opportunity to opt out of their contract and possibly become free agents. I think that all 3 of them should come back to the team. And I think Wade needs to take a discount. Now, Wade does not, from what I'm hearing, does not want to take a drastic discount because he feels like he put in work early in his career and he deserves to be paid. And that kind of does make sense because when you look back, when Wade won a championship in 2006, he made only $3 million that year. That's nothing. He was the finals MVP and he turned it up crazy against the Dallas Mavericks. Now, Dwyane Wade is at the later part of his career, 32, 33. He has bad knees and he wants his money. I don't blame him. So we'll see if the Heat can stick together. It's not looking too good right now, but I do think that they're going to acquire a specific player.
Like LeBron, I'm taking my talents down to South Beach.
We're going to get into that very shortly. Chris Bosh, I feel like Bosh did not play good in Game 5. I felt like after Game 4, he needed some more touches, but I don't know. I don't know if he was aggressive enough this series. I don't know what the problem was with Bosh. I'm kind of disappointed in Bosh, but I'm disappointed in a lot of the Heat role players, quote unquote, because Mario Chalmers didn't show up. He was garbage in the series. Norris Cole was garbage. I'm kind of upset with Coach Spoelstra for taking so long to start playing Shane Battier and Michael Beasley. Gregg Oden didn't pitch in at all this series or even the whole season.
You wasn't with me shooting in the gym. You wasn't with me shooting in the gym.
Ray Allen, I feel like he didn't play good this series, and he was like the big dude from last year. Ray Allen hit the big shot in Game 6. That was shocking. Where was Birdman?
What happened to that boy? What happened to that boy? What happened to that boy?
Nobody showed up on the Heat roster other than LeBron James. That's crazy. This organization needs to find a way to give LeBron more help. Probably bulk up their bench. Do something. It was a shocker to see them lose the way that they lost, man, for real. And it's been 2 years since the Miami Heat have lost, almost 2 years since the Heat lost back-to-back games in the playoffs since 2012, and they got ramrodded. They lost 3 straight since Game 3 of this NBA Finals. That was a stunner. Where does this leave both teams? Well, the Spurs, their big three with Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, and Tim Duncan now are the winningest trio in postseason history. So I think those 3 guys, they should find a way to return because Tim Duncan has an option in his contract. We don't know if he'll return. Also, you know, Kawhi Leonard, he has 1 year left on his contract. The Spurs are going to have to find a way to pay him because he is a future star in the making. Ginobili has 1 year left on his contract. Parker, I think he's still going to play for a few more years. The Heat, not looking too good. But I do think they may or may not add Melo. On Monday, StarMelo needs to let the Knicks know if he will opt in to the last year of his contract or not. I expect him to opt out and become a free agent and join the Miami Heat. The following day, Tim Duncan needs to let the Spurs know if he will opt into the last year of his contract. I expect him to and stay with the Spurs. Then by the end of the month, the big 3 for the Heat need to let the Heat know if they will opt in or out. I expect those guys to opt out so that everybody can go back to the team and take a pay cut, and they will acquire Melo and they'll have a big 4. That's just what I anticipate. But we got to see if the Heat will stick together or no. As for the Spurs, y'all won. Congratulations. I'm not crazy about y'all. Y'all not one of my favorite teams, but I'm showing y'all love this episode. Here's a tribute to y'all.
Moment of silence for the champions, for those who make going hard a lifestyle. Never wait for nothing, gotta get it right now. I'm in the spotlight when they turn the lights down. Only a champ swing the hardest in the 12th round. I love the 4th quarter, I love the 9th inning, I love Game 7. Bring on the competition, cause in my heart can't nobody do it better. Can't slow me down, won't stop me never. I'm so Cassius Clay, I'm Tyson in his prime. You little league with, I'm Barry Bonds with mine. I beat the buzzer, baby. My stroke is hole in one. You see the checkered flag, finish line, here I come. And I ain't gotta brag, I let the trophies do it. Around here, we the best. Now come and hold me to it. I specialize in everything that can't be done. Ain't no more talking about it. Moment of silence for the champion. They say we warriors. They say we did it again. Hands high for the champion. We are victorious. We only in it to win. Stand up for the champion. No surrender, no retreat. We take the battlefield over every time. They clap your hands for the champion. We came, we saw, we conquered everything in sight. Moment of silence for the champion. Hey yo, hey yo, hey yo. That's the sound you hear from the crowd when we come through. They screaming. Hey yo, hey yo, hey yo. We run the town here, can't you tell when we come through? They screaming. Champions, we are champions. They screaming. Champions, we are champions.
Yeah, folks, my tough topics in the Tell 'em Zone. The NBA season is over, and the San Antonio Spurs are the 2014 NBA champions. They showed that teamwork always prevails, and as I like to say when I play NBA 2K, there's no I in Mr. Alejandro. This came as a shocker to me because the Spurs lost to the Dallas Mavericks in the playoffs 3 times. The Spurs lost to the Portland Trailblazers in the playoffs 1 time. And the Spurs lost in the playoffs to OKC 2 times. But the back-to-back defending world champions Miami Heat, with the best player in the league on their team, LeBron James, only managed to beat the Spurs 1 time. I thought that was pathetic. Did the Spurs expose the Miami Heat for what they truly are? A team that's way too reliant upon LeBron James? Are the Spurs really this good, or are the Miami Heat really just that bad? Tell them in the comments. Tonight's navy floral bow tie is brought to you by Count Tomorrow. Check it out. I'm looking fly as always, so shout out to me. Tune in for more sports, cars, video game, fitness, and all that. Follow at Em Alejandro to hear my immediate reaction to live sports events, or if you want to hear me cover a certain team or topic, tell them. TEA drinkers, the NBA season is over, so y'all know what time it is. It is turn up time. It is tell 'em time. Special outro remix. I said the Spurs are the champions. The Heat are somewhere cramping. The Spurs are the champions. The Heat are somewhere cramping. I said the Spurs are over, they won't die. So shout out to my man Kawhi. I said the Spurs are over, they won't die. Shout out to my man Kawhi. I said the Spurs are over, they won't die. Shout out to my man Kawhi. I said the Spurs are over, they won't die. So shout out to my man Kawhi. Tell him Alejandro. Tell him Alejandro. Tell him Alejandro. Tell him Alejandro. T-E-A. We don't play naughty. We don't play. Right now we're in Brazil enjoying that World Cup. Shout out to the World Cup. Baseball season's going on. You know we're going to be getting into that. Football season's right around the corner. NBA free agency is next week. E3 just dropped, telling us about mad new video games coming out this year. It's going to be fire. Shout out to Danny Green, my Long Island, New York man. Got a championship. Shout out to him. Shout out to the Spurs for showing a lot of fortitude this year. I'm proud of them. Let's enjoy this beat. It's fire. Spurs ain't stopping it. Shout out Gregg Popovich. I said Spurs ain't stopping it. Shout out Gregg Popovich. The Spurs ain't stopping it. So shout out Gregg Popovich. The Spurs ain't stopping it. Shout out Gregg Popovich. Alejandro. Tell him Alejandro. Tell him Alejandro. Tell him Alejandro. I'm in the whip. Oh, I'm in the whip. Tell him Alejandro. Stick shifting. Stick shifting. Hold on that bass. Tell him Alejandro. I said. Tell him Alejandro. Tell him Alejandro. Tell him Alejandro. All these windows, man. They like bass. They like bass. Let them feel it. Tell him Alejandro. Tell him Alejandro. You got to tell him Alejandro. Tell him Alejandro. Tell him Alejandro. Tell him Alejandro.